The question that changes everything. You know, it's one of the most powerful questions a person can ask themselves. How long did it take for you to realize your power? Men and women alike, we were taught to look for authority outside of ourselves. But true strength doesn't announce itself. It awakens when everything you depended on stops working. Faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains, and yet most of us stand staring at the mountain, praying for it to shrink instead of realizing God gave us the power to climb. We were not made to be spectators of miracles. We were designed to participate in them, and that means your voice matters. Your presence moves things in rooms your feet haven't even entered yet. Here's the problem with the world today. We are drowning in opinions and starving for truth. Social media tells you to manifest it. Religion tells you to wait for it. But the Spirit of God says, walk with me, and I'll show you it's already within you. Every generation wrestles with a different mountain. For men, it's the pressure to perform without peace. For women, it's the pressure to please without purpose. But in both, the assignment is the same. Return to your divine design. Power isn't about dominance. It's about alignment. When you know who you are, you don't have to force outcomes. Real power is the ability to stay calm in the storm, to keep your peace when everything in the world profits off your panic. That's what faith looks like in 2025, and it's rare, which makes it magnetic. Let's talk about what's really going on. We're living in the age of information overload and spiritual starvation. People scroll for hours but don't feel seen. They chase goals that don't even belong to them. And yet deep down, they know something's missing. That's why conversations about purpose, prayer, and peace are going viral again. People are tired of pretending they're okay. They don't want a brand. They want belonging. So when you speak truth, you become a mirror for a generation looking for meaning. Before purpose can find you, peace must recognize you. And peace doesn't meet you in motion, it meets you in surrender. We live in a world that tells you to keep pushing, proving, performing. But heaven whispers something different. Be still. I'm already here. Because faith isn't loud. Faith is the quiet voice that says, even here, I trust him. When your plans fall apart, that's not failure. That's God rearranging the blueprint to fit the version of you he's building. The one who can hold it this time with wisdom, not worry, with maturity, not noise. Let's bring this home. If faith is the seed, then purpose is the tree. And like any tree, you can't rush the roots. Roots take time because they're being built for weight, not applause. What God is building through you needs depth. Your calling isn't something you chase. It's something that catches up to you when you're finally still enough to hear God, when you stop forcing and start flowing. The next time you feel delay, don't panic. Ask, what is this teaching me? Because delay builds depth, and depth creates influence. Influence that's not just online, but in the hearts of everyone you silently strengthen. That's the kind of power heaven trusts with impact, the kind that doesn't need to be seen to be significant, the kind that moves mountains, even when no one's watching. So if you're in your waiting season, know this. God didn't forget your name. He's just anchoring your roots before he raises your reach. And sometimes the way he does that is by quieting the room. Have you noticed how the moment you start growing, the crowd thins? That's not rejection, it's redirection. Because God doesn't shout over noise. He teaches you how to hear him in the hush. He removes the voices that confuse your calling so you can finally hear the one voice that confirms it. Your isolation isn't punishment, it's private tutoring. Everyone wants to be chosen, but few are ready to be prepared. Before David became king, he was a shepherd. Before Esther wore the crown, she endured exile. Before Jesus performed miracles, he disappeared into the wilderness. The silence before visibility is sacred, because in that silence, you learn who you are when no one's watching, what you believe when nothing is working, and how to walk by faith, not applause. Don't rush your quiet season. It's where kings and queens are built. Let's talk about that feeling that keeps whispering, you're behind your goals, behind your peers, behind your potential. But timing is heaven's territory. You can't miss what was meant for you because what's divine has divine recall. Every delay, every detour, it recalibrates your path to align with your growth. You're not late. You're being laced with wisdom. The truth? What you call late, heaven calls right on schedule. When God rebuilds you, He doesn't restore you to who you were. He upgrades you to who you were always meant to be. You'll know you're in that season when old desires don't fit, old circles feel foreign, old goals don't satisfy you anymore. That's not confusion, that's confirmation, because spiritual elevation always outgrows old environments. And as you rebuild, remember this: it's okay to be both grateful and grieving. Healing isn't linear, but progress is holy. What if the blessing wasn't the breakthrough, but the becoming? You prayed for new doors, but God made you the key. You prayed for miracles, but God made you the evidence. Sometimes we think we're waiting for the next big thing, but really, the next big thing is waiting for us to recognize who we've become. That's the moment you realize the waiting room wasn't empty, it was a workshop. You don't need fixing, you need focusing. Because when you move from wholeness, everything changes. Decisions become easier. Boundaries feel natural. Peace becomes your default, not your prize. And when you live from wholeness, you stop chasing things that only loved the hurt version of you, because healed you has standards that trauma you couldn't imagine. When you surrender, you stop striving, because surrender isn't quitting, it's aligning. It's saying, God, if this door doesn't open, I don't want it. God, if this path requires me to lose myself, it's not mine. When you align, you attract, not chase. You receive, not wrestle. And you flow, not force. Because faith doesn't fight to be seen. It walks knowing it's sent. Remember that mountain from Matthew 17:21? Here's what they don't tell you. Every mountain you move has memory. Every time you've survived what should have broken you, the ground remembers your authority. So when the next test comes, it's not to destroy you, it's to remind you what you carry. The storm isn't new, but this time you are. You've matured in power, peace, and discernment. Now you don't just move mountains, you mentor others climbing theirs. Close your eyes with me. Take a deep breath. Say this aloud. God, thank you for being here with us. Please bless this viewer watching this video. Thank you for not giving up on us when we gave up on ourselves. Thank you for every delay that developed us, every no that redirected us, and every breaking that built us. From this day forward, we walk in faith, not fear, but in alignment, not anxiety, in purpose, not panic. Now say with me, I am ready for what you've been preparing for me. Amen. Now go live like your miracle already happened, because spiritually, it did. Subscribe and I'll see you next time.